what is truth? So, I'm going to say truth is simply, it is what it is.
Yes.
What about relating it to nature?
Well, it still comes down to it is what it is. That is truth. Nature just is.
Yeah.
That's truth. And where there is absence of complete truth, there is always disharmony and disorder, which leads to dis-ease. Okay, so truth is the sum total of these 5 laws, yes, but really truth is being able and willing to see things as they really are, not as you think the world wants you to see them, but to see them as they really are. When you're able to see things as they really are and live them as they really are, you will immediately begin to take all these elemental laws, these natural laws into account, because you will realize that every time you think something, it's going to bring to you whatever you're thinking. Every time you say something, it's going to bring to you whatever you're saying, whatever you say. Every time you do something, and we think of doing something as if you do something with your hands, but no. Every thought is an act. Every word is an act. Every thought is a choice. You may think you don't have a choice. It's going so fast. But remember that the law of movement or motion is a constant. So as fast as your thoughts are going, your intuition is moving just as fast. If you let it, if you acknowledge it and give it a chance, it moves as fast as your thoughts. So your intuition can choose what your thoughts will be. Now people say, oh, that's not possible. Yes, it's not possible if you choose to control your thoughts. It's hard to control your thoughts, isn't it? Mm-hmm. But it's very easy. In fact, it's almost unavoidable when you have a bad experience from something. Let's say I go out there and I'm walking around that pool and I'm not paying attention and I fall into it and I have to struggle to get out of it. The next time I go out there, nobody's going to tell me to pay attention, right? On the other hand, if I went out there and I wasn't paying attention and I fell and I hit my head, and my husband comes running out and goes, oh, we need to get rid of this pool, oh, you poor darling, this, whoever put this pool here, I haven't learned anything. And that's the same. We need to understand that any and everything that happens to us, with us, we are responsible. Nobody else. We are responsible. If your, what shall we say, if your husband is being a jerk, and you are suffering from anxiety attacks and palpitations because of that, your husband's not going to be any less of a jerk. Your palpitations are only going to get worse. So the question is, what should I do? Should I live with this? How am I going to, live with this and live my life peacefully? Can you change your husband? Yes or no?
No.
Can you change the relationship?
Yes. You could leave.
She says you could leave. Can you change the relationship?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the key. You can't change somebody else. You can change yourself. You can change your way of being. You can change your way of interacting with that person. And when you change your way of interacting with that person, the relationship is changed. Every relationship is two individuals. Right?
Mm-hmm.
One isn't changing. One can change. That one who can change can move down over here, can move over there, can move this way. And as this one moves, this has to turn in order to be able to face the one that's moved. Do you get it?
Yeah.
This is really important.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very important. Okay? So, this takes us to another concept. That concept is the power of silence. Silence. Many of us do not know how to use our spiritual power or intuition power, or what other word should we use?
Our inner strength.
Insight.
Your insides. Your inside is silent. You know how when there's a tornado or a storm, in the eye of the storm is absolute quiet. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet it has enormous power that can move out into the periphery and move, houses and cars and whatever. Okay. If you can leave this place with anything, one thing, I'm going to ask you to please take time and read this book. And the reason I want you to read this book is because it contains this information that I'm sharing with you. Okay? The power that is inside you is immeasurable. And the possibility to attain to what you set your mind to is guaranteed, as long as you understand the natural laws and you submit yourself to them and align yourself with them. You know, people often say things like, I would like to grow old gracefully. They say it with their mouth, but it's not coming from here. Because when it's coming from here, their whole concept of graceful would be different. Or I don't really care for money, but I would like to have a successful career. What do you really want out of your career? Whatever it is you want is what you're going to get. No matter what you say with your mouth. So it's important for your mouth and your heart to be at one. Every word that comes out of you will bring its own kind. And everything that you're thinking will bring its own kind. And everything that you're feeling or intuiting will bring its own kind. When those three are not all the same, then you end up with chaos in your life. Often when there's a lot of chaos going on in your life, you need to step back and ask yourself, where am I not manifesting truth? Because I promise you, it's not coming from outside, it's coming from within you. Okay? You have to ask yourself, where is my story? Where does my story end? And where does the truth begin? And then try to find your way to that truth. That truth being, it is what it is. What is it really? Can I have the courage to admit to myself, this is the way things are? Or somebody, wants something from you and you tell a little lie. I can't do this because I am sick. When you're not sick, you will be sick. Because you said it. I'm sick. You get it?
Can I ask a question? Going back to something you said. So, for that infant with cancer, as these laws apply, are you saying that this disharmony is coming from the infant, or from the mother's transmission to the infant, or from a past life? I mean, like, where does that tiny infant now fit into this beautiful understanding?
Well, if we go back and say nothing ever happens that didn't start from you, then we'd have to say it started from that person. That's the infant. And so that carries us back to the question of, well, everything that's happening to you at this moment began somewhere in the past. And that's the law of cycles. Everything goes through a cycle. But think of a cycle. It doesn't, it starts here, it goes like that, and it finds its way back here. It takes time. It takes time. So, whatever it is you're thinking today, or saying today, or, doing today, may not return to you for a while. It may return to you today, it may return to you tomorrow, it may return next year, it may return in a decade, it may return in 50 years, or it may return in another lifetime. You have to, if you do not confront the concept, the idea that you live more than once, you will continue to struggle with your life because you can't understand where certain things came from. Okay? If you do not, and I'm not asking you to believe in it, I'm asking you to confront the idea. Think about it and ask yourself, could this possibly be the answer or the reason for this or that or the other? For example, your children. The children that are born to you are drawn to you. Partly because you've had dealings with them before. And whatever it is you're struggling with your particular child, is meant to help you come to some personal insights for yourself. Your child is no younger a spirit than you are. Everyone in this earth is as old as everybody else. That's the truth. Okay? People talk about the ancestral line, right? And they're right. You have to understand that in many instances, the person who is your child today may have been your mother in a previous life. And people cluster, and they cluster by the attraction of same kind. They also cluster through the law of what we call the law of karma. The law of karma is really these 5 laws. These 5 laws constitute one law. If you think about it very carefully, okay, you have to be able to think about it carefully. Everything goes in a cycle and comes back to its origin. But when it goes out, it's attracting. It attracts all kinds of things to itself. And then it comes back with all the things it has attracted to itself. So it's all the laws in one. The law of karma says, everything you put out must come back to you. But you yourself are going through a cycle of being born, living, dying, and being born again. And at the same time, everything is in motion. Nothing ever is still. So you have to be able to see like the entire movie all at the same time. You can only be born to somebody to whom you're attracted because you're carrying stuff that is related or connected with that person. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So ancestrally, all the people that are connected to you by the law of karma. So you could say, we're going through the ancestral issues that need to be cleared, or you can say we're going through our karma that needs to be cleared. It doesn't matter. But let me assure you, in no uncertain terms, no healer can clear your karma. Absolutely not. No sweat lodge attendants or going to confession in your Catholic church, or going to your, what shall we call it, going to your Pentecostal church, none of that can clear your karma. The only thing that can clear your karma and restore health in your being, in your life, in your person, is paying attention to these principles. When you pay attention to these principles, you acknowledge the perfection of the universe, of which you are only a tiny little part, and to which you are absolutely subject. It's almost like, karma is like that trap that the fur trappers use to trap animals, that thing with tight jaws that once the animal is caught in it, there's no way that animal can escape. Well, that's karma. You cannot escape it. The only way to restore harmony in your inner being and harmony in your life is to start expressing yourself in your thoughts, in your words, and in your deeds in the direction you want to go in order to find peace and harmony. And the more you, if you were facing this way and you start trying to face the other way, it doesn't happen overnight, it's slowly, then less and less of this direction is attracted to you. You attract less and less of the chaos, the disharmony, the conflicts, and everything else. But when we react to chaos or conflict with anger and stuff like that, we only draw more of it to ourselves. But you can only arrive at true understanding by being quiet and going inside yourself and working on your own self, your own issues, your own perceptions, and trying to find truth in yourself with whatever it is that's going on with you, around you, within you. Okay? So, for you to bring about any kind of positive change, whether it's for yourself, for your loved one, for somebody or something or some situation that you perceive as impacting you negatively, the first step is to arrive at clarity. Clarity that allows you to channel your thoughts in the direction that you want to see change. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
in the direction that you want to see change. So, this book, it's called In the Light of Truth, and it was written at the turn of the century, of the 20th century. We're already in the 21st. For me, when I started to practice medicine, and I went back and read this book, it was like, oh wow, it really explains everything. It explains everything. Okay? And it really addresses just the human condition. You know, every possible question. This book, In the Light of Truth, was written by a German. His given name was Oscar Ernst Bernhard, but he used the pen name Abdruschen for almost all his writings. And Abdruschen is actually derived from Arabic. It comes in 3 volumes, and I started out reading the first volume and then went on to read the second and the third. You can purchase it on Amazon as a 3-volume paperback set. And I would advise you, if you choose to purchase and read this book, to start with the first volume and read consecutively through the second and third volume, in that order, first, second, and third, because there are a lot of concepts that are introduced sequentially, and it will be much easier for you if you read it that way. I thank you for listening